Today we're talking about Loki in the garden. I know it's going to be fraught with controversy, so stay tuned and then leave a note and let me know what your thoughts on the trickster are. Hey there, you beautiful heathen. I'm Matt Sargent. Welcome to iWell's Initiations. It's great to see you. Today we're going to talk about Loki's role in your garden. As you know, I am a huge proponent of the fact that heathens should be growing their own food, fiber, fuel, and medicine. And the best way to do that is by growing the eco garden, or a food forest. A garden that's modeled after nature is essentially a forest. It has canopy trees, sub-canopy trees, vines, ground crops, root crops, and they all provide either food, fiber, fuel, or medicine, or benefit the other plants in the system. It's a system that's very interconnected and provides not only for you and your kin, but for the other beings here on Midgard, the birds, the bees, etc. So where does Loki fit into the eco garden? Loki's a complex character, and heathens either love him or hate him. I see it all across the forums. People think he's great. People think he's the devil. The arch-heathens, as Jesse Stillwagon Midgard Musings likes to call them, the pre-Christian heathens, they didn't have the dualistic nature that modern people do of good and evil. Things just were, right? So is Loki really evil? In my opinion, no. And then we've got the heathens that think Loki's a great guy. I'm not going to necessarily say he's a great guy, but I don't think he's bad. I think he's Loki, and he's a complex character. But what Loki represents, in my opinion, is balance. When we read the stories, for every misdeed Loki performs, something good comes out of it. And oftentimes, even when there isn't a misdoing, something good comes out of it. If we take the tale of Thiazi, when with Loki's help, Thiazi kidnaps Idun for her apples, Loki saves her. And the gods end up killing Thiazi. And when all is said and done, they end up with Skathi as an ally, joining the ranks of the Aesir. But what did Loki do wrong in that? Yeah, he kind of conspired against one of his gods, but as soon as he realized what was at stake, he made it right, and he got the gods a new friend. That's great. When he cut off Sif's hair, he got the gods the very weapons that they're going to use to fight at Ragnarok. And even if we look at the tale of Ragnarok, yes, Loki may lead the charge with his offspring, but when all is said and done, Baldur returns and the world is great again. So, as I said, Loki's all about balance. And what the hell does that have to do with your eco garden? Well, when you first establish a garden, eco garden or traditional garden, at some point you're going to have some sort of pest. For many people, this ends up being an insect of types that is eating a lot of your crops, whether it's a food crop or a medicinal crop. And that's because your garden is out of balance. As modern humans, our nature is to go grab pesticides, kill the bad guys, and return to growing and harvesting, right? Well, if you plant in abundance and you plant a diverse polyculture, you'll also be attracting other bugs. And these bugs will probably eat the bad bugs. And you'll find a state of balance. If you read the book Gaia's Garden, which is all about developing the eco garden, there's a great tale about a guy who set up a aquatic garden. And at first, when he set up this aquatic garden, all these cattails came up. And cattails are super beneficial for the ecosystem. They help purify the water, etc. But with the cattails, they attracted muskrats, and the muskrats were eating all the cattails. The guy was really bummed out because cattails are actually a great source of food. The tubers are pretty tasty. It's actually one of the few plants that you can eat every part of the plant. You ever tried cattail? Do you dig it? Because I love the tubers. The guy didn't want to trap the muskrats. It seemed like too daunting of a task, but sure enough, word got out in the ecosystem that there was an abundance of muskrats at this guy's aquatic garden. And then the otters came in. And the otters devoured the muskrats, and the otters kept the muskrat population in check, and all of a sudden he had cattails to eat again. And to me, this represents the actions of Loki. And so by holding a place for Loki and calling for balance in your garden, hopefully you can find balance further. So what does this have to do with Loki? Well, a well-designed garden promotes that balance of good critters versus bad critters. And I don't necessarily think they're bad. They're all just trying to live, right? But it finds a balance which allows you to still have a crop. So, well, there's definitely something cerebral and mental in planning that. If you channel Loki and connect with Loki, he'll probably help you find that balance or show you what you need to do. What do you think? Are you capable of working with Loki if it provides food, fiber, fuel, and medicine for your kin and kith? Let me know.